what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving back into some more PvP with the new Lore and Kid Super Sugo with a driven-centric team. So alongside Free Spirit, Kid Lore is actually a driven character, a very rare combination of a Free Spirit and driven when in their dual form. Kid himself is a Free Spirit driven, and this particular unit is used to counter driven and powerhouse characters. However, they are a driven character themselves, so you can bring them on a driven-centric team. Now, just like the Free Spirit team, we took them into some challenge fights. We're going to be doing the same thing with the driven team and sort of countering driven versus driven, which is very, very interesting. Now, driven are very, very powerful when it comes to PvP. They have a lot of Pirate Vessel rare recruits. There's a lot of characters that I didn't include on the team that you can definitely bring. Stuff like Kanjuro. You could even bring like Dofi in the front. You have V1 Doflamingo, the Legend 6+. You have a lot of different options when it comes to the driven-based team, as well as sort of like Moria and some other int-based units too. But remember, when you are building out teams with dual units, they are technically classified as colorless units. So if you're bringing characters like Moria, he's not actually going to give the int buff to something like Lore and Kid. But you have stuff like Shiki, we're bringing stuff like Tesoro, you have the rare recruit Fuji, who's very, very good, and then you have a lot of very good nukers on the bench with stuff like BlueJam in the front, Porkamy on the bench, King on the bench, and you can do some really, really cool stuff here. I'm not 100% sure which team works better for Kid Lore, whether it's the Free Spirit team or if it's the Driven team. The Driven team does seem very, very powerful, and Kid Lore does find a very easy spot on it. However, Kid Lore kind of found a very easy spot on the Free Spirit team as well. The downside to bringing Kid Lore is you really want to try and verse driven powerhouse units to get the most out of them. However, you can easily just still bring them anyway to really maximize their ability, because there are a lot of driven and powerhouse characters that run around on a majority of the different teams. And in the challenge fights, you guys will see that. We're versing the Sasaki Fight now, and we have stuff like Ulti, Who's Who, King, Kid. All of these characters are powerhouse or driven, so they do take the big nerfs that Kid Lore actually provides. Stuff like Kuma, stuff like, who's the other one? X-Drake on this team as well. You have like Kaidos. Any of those types of characters are going to get absolutely nerfed when it comes to what Kid Lore is actually providing the team. So that was against Sasaki. That's actually a pretty hard PvP fight, and we managed to do it quite comfortably. We have Dofi coming off the bench too, which is just firepower and a half. Plus, Dofi actually buffs our team. Let's move on to the next fight. Alright, so moving on to the BlueJam fight now. This is literally a full driven squad. Driven characters out the wazoo. It's completely quick driven as well. Stuff like Sugar, stuff like Kainu, stuff like Fuji himself, Tesoro, BlueJam, Porkamy. All of those units, the list goes on and on and on, are actually going to get nerfed by Kid Lore. Now, if you guys didn't stick around for my Free Spirit video, make sure to go check that out. It was a lot of fun. But with Kid and Lore, their passive gives level 6 attack, HP, and speed up to Free Spirit and Driven characters, and then inflicts level 5 attack and defense down to Driven powerhouse characters. So this ability does nerf opposition. I don't believe it nerfs yourself, because that would be very, very silly for Kid Lore to actually just nerf themselves completely. I do believe it's against the enemy. Like, it's not like it nerfs you, but if you guys are looking at the screen right now and you're looking at this and you're like, Stump, you've already got like 11 defense, like, what are you talking about? You're nerfing yourself, then that's a big problem for Kid Lore. But from what I can see and what I could tell, you're not actually getting nerfed on your own side. You're literally just nerfing the opposition, which is always good to see. Their Rumble special at level 10, it does level 5 defense down to driven powerhouse characters for 20 seconds. It does a 50% chance to paralyze driven powerhouses, and then deals 3.7 times their attack to 3 enemies with the highest HP. Now, I'm not a huge fan of their special, to be honest. Their passive isn't, like, by all means broken, but it definitely helps out when you are coming up against these driven powerhouse characters, because you already are reducing their defense by level 5 just with a passive, and then with their special, you can reduce level 5 defense down as well. But again, if you're not versing driven powerhouse, this can be a little bit detrimental, because the 3.7 times attack always hits the enemies with the highest HP. That generally means that you're not actually killing 3 units, like going through defense or something like that. I really wish it said target 3 driven powerhouse enemies or enemies with the highest HP. But then again, that would have its faults as well. Nothing can be perfect when it comes to this type of stuff. It's just, I wish that they did a little bit more with their special to actually take down Driven and Powerhouse and found a way to sort of harness in on those units. Maybe like prioritize Driven Powerhouse. If not, hits enemies with the highest HP. That would be really, really cool. But no, all in all, they did slide in very, very well on the Driven team, and they did put in quite a bit of work, especially with the damage output. Once you do get half stats off from BlueJam or Uta. Now, Uta doesn't reduce the defense by half like Moria does, and that's why Moria could be such a great fit on this team. However, BlueJam, he definitely does, and halving stats is such a powerful mechanic that when you do halve the stats, it means that 3.7 times attack does go absolutely nuts, especially if it does hit a Driven or a Powerhouse character. After lowering their defense by 5 and then halving it, you're now sitting at what? 7.5 or 7, it's round up to 8 defense down on that enemy that you're hitting. It doesn't matter if that enemy has like 13 defense, it's going to get halved, so which is very, very nice. We do manage to take down the Pell PvP fight. I know a lot of people are renowned to say that this is probably the hardest piece of content or the hardest challenge fight in the game. Nowadays, it's lost a lot of its like oomph, and I haven't actually done some of the new ones like Kawamatsu or Ivankov. I do believe Ivankov is going to be disgustingly easy, but as for Kawa, I haven't actually tried him yet because I am looking to do a video for that. I'll try and get those videos out so we can actually use those that piece of content for these fights. But the Pell fight is still renowned to be one of the most annoying because the team is so tanky. However, there are a lot of powerhouse and driven characters that are scattered through. Another thing about Kid Lord that I wish they did was I wish they stacked. If the enemy was a driven and powerhouse, it did level 10 attack down, level 10 defense down. That way you could absolutely decimate characters like Uta, Moria, Queen, Kaidos. Like, you'd be able to do absolute bits to some of those crazy-ass characters. BlueJam, Porkamy, that just go absolutely AWOL with the amount of damage that they can output. So if they did that, it would put them into a tier, and such an elite tier, that it would just completely cuck the Driven Powerhouse team. But all in all, they do still do a very good job at reducing them. Their GP leader is actually pretty interesting as well. It gives level 6 attack speed and crit up to int characters, and then level 4 HP buff to Free Spirit Driven, and a level 3 defense CT up buff to Free Spirit and Driven characters. This doesn't stack, unfortunately. It's basically one or the other. So it is what it is. If you have a Free Spirit Driven, which there isn't a lot of, obviously like Kid Law is pretty much the only character you'll probably see using that, unless you for some reason using it on Orochi's onto a Banshee or something like that. After 5 specials, which is very easy to do, you can deal 1.5 times the leader's attack in damage that will ignore defense to one enemy with the highest HP, and then does 5 times the leader's attack to all enemies. So I'll be testing this out in Grand Party. Grand Party goes live today, actually, as of me recording this video, so I'll definitely be trying them out in Grand Party. But if you guys are using this unit in Rumble, let me know in the comment section below where you guys like to use Kid Law. Do you like the Free Spirit team more? Do you like the Driven team more? Where does this unit fit in for you guys with your type of playstyle or what you believe this character can do? But if you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed us decimating some of these challenge fights, make sure to go down there, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Late! Dofi with the clutch.